Canan Moody from the Springboks was a player that you told me to check out down in the comments because I read the comments and I follow your instructions as well as I can anyways. We're going to check him out. So from my understanding, limited understanding, he's another young player, up and coming player that's changing the game, making things happen. Curious to see what he has to offer to the sport, seeing as how I am really starting to love, or have been, since I've been doing rugby reactions and watching rugby games, not just making reactions and throwing them up here. I actually really enjoy the sport. My team, the NFL season's off, running about halfway through the season. My team sucks. So I'm so happy that I have some other sport, one I love to watch and pay attention to. Excuse me, I'm leaving that in. I'm not editing it out. We're gonna check out Canan Moody. We have Springboks are playing France coming up in November. We have the Southern Hemisphere and Northern Hemisphere games about to start kicking off as well, unless I'm wrong. But from what you have been telling me, that's what's going on. We're looking at a channel here. It's a new channel to me, Blood, Sweat, and Tries. So we're gonna watch this footage here, see how good it is. Because a lot of times you're like, oh, that wasn't the best highlights. There's better ones and stuff like that. I do the best I can, and I really don't know how to select what highlights are better than others. I try to see which one's got the most views, because a lot of times that'll tell you, a lot of people like it. So that's the ones I look. If you do have suggestions for me, feel free to throw a link in there. You know what I mean? If you have a video like, oh, this is the one right here, you got to check this out. Or there's a play in this one right here. Just give me a link, man. I would really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot, too. If you guys like this type of content, make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Would love to have you. Well, let's jump into this and see what we have with Canan Moody. All right, let's see.
Canan Moody has never lost a single match in a Springbok jersey.
How old is this? He just said he's never lost a single match. How many games has he played? So this is Blood, Sweat, and Tries. Make sure you guys support these guys as well. If they have good content, then by all means, I'm going to hit the like button anyways. I know we just got into it, but I'm going to watch it. I'm going to like it. And then this is 3 months old. It's only 3 months old. Okay. He's never lost a match. Let's rewind that and listen to that again.
Canan Moody has never lost a single match in a Springbok jersey. Let that sink in. Whether he's on the wing, coming off the bench, or slotted into a backline shuffle at the last minute, South Africa wins. Every time. He's not loud. He's not flashy. But something happens when he steps onto the field. Things just work. And somehow, nobody's talking about him the way they should. It's easy to assume someone with a record like that must have come through the elite rugby pipeline. The grey colleges, the...
Oh man, he just stole that from him. I'm not sure if hopefully if this audio is too loud, I apologize.
Paul Roos powerhouses, Craven weak stardom. But no. Canan Moody's rise wasn't built on hype or headlines. It was built in the shadows, through hunger, quiet brilliance, and a system that nearly missed him completely. Born in Paarl in 2002, Canan grew up in a town that breathes rugby.
In Paarl in 2002. Man, that makes me feel so old. My daughter was born in 2000. Oh my goodness.
Missed him completely. Born in Paarl in 2002, Canan grew up in a town that breathes rugby. But he wasn't part of a rugby dynasty. No elite programs with his name on them. No early media buzz. He didn't grow up in a system that promised Springbok status if you just tick the boxes. What he had was raw athleticism, high rugby IQ, and the kind of quiet confidence you can't teach. He attended Boland Landboo, a respected rugby school, but not one of the usual Springbok production factories like Gray, Affy's, or Paul Roos. He was talented, no doubt, but not flashy. And as the years rolled by, he kept being overlooked for bigger selections. Most notably, he was never picked for Craven Week.
Man, he looks fast, he's lean, he's got that body type where I would not peg him just by looking at him as a rugby player. Because in my mind, and before really watching and getting into rugby, I always thought of rugby players as just brutes. You know what I mean? I never thought about skill players, like skill positions, tacticians, stuff like that. Never crossed my mind when thinking about rugby. I just thought it was a brute sport. And so it's really, I don't want to say nice, or I don't know the right word for it, refreshing, or I like learning the depth of what goes into it. Because I was ignorant. I just thought, oh, it's just a brute sport. You just brute power, through it. So, I mean, this guy, I would never say, I would think, body type, some sort of like sprinter athlete type thing.
Not once. In South African rugby terms, that's almost a death sentence for a young prospect's career. No Craven Week means no spotlight. No SA schools caps. No scouts knocking at your door. For most players, that would have been the end of the road. But not for Canan. While the rest of the country chased Craven Week glory, the Bulls were watching something else.
I don't know if anybody was anywhere close to him, but he just looks like he's just striding in the park.
It's knocking at your door. For most players, that would have been the end of the road.
I'm just
but
going to
not
jog
for Canan.
this in,
While the rest of the country chased Craven Week glory, the Bulls were watching something else. Their scouting network had built a reputation for digging deeper, for finding unpolished gems in overlooked corners. They weren't chasing just highlights. They were watching closely for rugby intelligence, game control, spacing, composure. The stuff you can't always measure in stats or reels. And what they saw in Moody was special. They spotted it during local matches. He wasn't trying to do too much.
Oh, the hands on him, though. That ball, when it was passed to him, should have been missed. And he reached out like he had stickum on his hands.
Saw in Moody was special. They spotted it during local matches.
Look at that. Oh,
he wasn't trying to do too much, but every time something important happened, Moody was right there. His timing was immaculate. His positioning, instinctive. He didn't force things. He let the game come to him. In 2020, the Bulls brought him into their academy. It wasn't headline news. In fact, most people didn't even notice.
Right there.
But behind the scenes, the coaches could already see it. This kid got it. He wasn't trying to impress. He was learning, absorbing, executing. His growth was rapid, but never reckless. Every week, he got sharper, smarter, stronger. Then came 2021, and the chance that changed everything. With the Junior World Championship cancelled due to COVID, South Africa hosted the Under-20 International Series as a replacement. The junior Springboks were assembled to face top-tier.
Okay, so 2021, he was under-20.
Under-20 opposition from Georgia, Argentina, and Uruguay. Canan Moody was called up. At the time, it raised eyebrows. No Craven Week. No elite school background. Yet here he was, in green and gold. But the moment he stepped onto the pitch, he erased all doubts. He wasn't just holding his own. He was bossing the backline. His versatility showed from day one. He covered wing, fullback, and even stepped into midfield when needed. He attacked space with precision, defended with discipline, and, most importantly, organized others around him. The coaching staff couldn't believe his defensive maturity at just 19. He wasn't just another junior talent.
So 19 at 2021, but he was showing some amazing skills.
He was thinking like a senior pro. That tournament was a turning point. The Bulls took note. And so did Springbok selectors. Later that year,
So the Bulls took note. And then the Springboks later that year. The Bulls, another South African team?
The Bulls took note. And so did Springbok selectors. Later that year, Canan was fast-tracked into the Bulls' URC squad. At first, he was expected to gain experience slowly. Maybe make a few bench appearances. But once again, Moody tore up the plan. From his debut match, he looked at home. Whether he was fielding high balls under pressure, making last-man tackles, or finishing on the wing, he delivered. Calm, calculated, and completely unshaken by the intensity of top-tier professional rugby. He played against big European clubs, local derbies, and even knockout matches. Coaches trusted him with real minutes.
He looks
no
quick.
Protective babysitting. No slow builds. He had already earned their faith. And then, the moment every South African dreams of, the Springbok call-up. It came in 2022.
Okay, so that's what I was waiting for. 2022, he got called up to the Springboks. So when he got called up, and then till now, 3 months ago, never lost a game that he played.
South Africa was looking to refresh its backline, build depth, and reward form. Canan got the call. He debuted against Australia. And what did he do? He scored. In his first match. But more than the try, it was everything else. He tackled like he'd been doing it for years. Made 0 errors. And seamlessly slotted into the box defensive structure. He's played multiple games since then. Started some. Came off the bench in others. But the one thing that's remained constant?
That was sweet.
The Springboks have never lost a match with Canan Moody on the field. It's one of the most bizarre and impressive stats in modern Test rugby. Yet Moody remains one of the most underrated and underdiscussed names in South African sport. And a big reason why. His versatility. He can play anywhere in the back three, and he can play at 13. He's even filled in at 12 in training camps. Coaches...
That's one thing I gotta learn, is how... I know that the positions, as they get out, 11, 12, 13s, out wingers, but I need to see something really quick. 1 second here. I gotta see how many games he has played. How many games has... He's played 18 matches, it says here. He has scored 40 points, 8 tries in these 18 matches. Never lost a game in 18 matches. Crazy.
3, and he can play at 13. He's even filled in at 12 in training camps. Coaches love that. But sometimes, being that useful can hurt your ability to lock down a position. That's when something surprising came out. In a recent interview, Canan revealed that his favorite position, the one he's fallen in love with, is outside center. Number 13. It's arguably the hardest defensive role in all of rugby. You're the hinge.
And that's another thing I don't think I've ever really brought up that much on here, but mad respect for, is that you play both ways nonstop. That is craziness. I mean, knowing the technicalities and everything you have to do, offense and defense.
13. It's arguably the hardest defensive role in all of rugby. You're the hinge. You're covering overlaps, guiding your winger, cutting inside runners, and leading the outside line. You've got to read the game 3 seconds ahead. One misstep, and the entire system collapses.
Look at this, right behind his
back. But Moody wants that challenge. Not because it's flashy, but because he's wired for it. He's not playing rugby off instinct alone. He studies the game. He watches defenders' feet, not just the ball. He adjusts spacing on the fly. And when he talks about center, you can tell he's serious. He's drawn comparisons to Conrad Smith, the great All Black 13. Smith was never the biggest or fastest.
Dude, he just looks rough, doesn't he? I mean, it looks like he's got a black eye and just...
fastest. But he was the smartest guy on the field. His understanding of timing...
That knee, look, he's putting his face, his shoulder, whole body into his knee at an angle from the side. That's dangerous. You could snap that knee. Oh my God.
Biggest or fastest. But he was the smartest guy on the field. His understanding of timing, support play, and defensive control made him a quiet assassin. Moody is showing those same signs. Lucanio Am is the modern benchmark, and Moody openly looks up to him. The way Am shuts down space, forces attackers wide, and then counterattacks with vision. That's the blueprint. And if the Springboks are smart, they'll start grooming Canan to take over that role when the time comes. But right now, he's everywhere. Wing 1 week, center the next, fullback off the bench. There's a real risk that he becomes the guy who covers everything. But
dude, that's a utility player. Coaches gotta just love that.
Fullback off the bench. There's a real risk that he becomes the guy who covers everything, but never gets to own anything. Online debates are heating up. Should Moody be starting more consistently? Should the Boks make him their next long-term 13? Some argue he's still too young. Others say he's already proven enough. Let me know in the comments what do you think? And don't forget, he's only 22. Yet Moody has already played against the world's best. He's already won big games. Already trusted by Jake White, Rassie Erasmus, and Jack Nienaber. Rumours are starting to swirl. European clubs are circling. They want to offer him a starting centre jersey, a leadership role, and big money. But the Bulls are holding firm. They believe Moody is part of their long-term plan, someone to build around, not just use as a plug-in utility back. What happens next could define South Africa's entire backline evolution. Will Moody be the next Lucanio M? Will he become the creative, cerebral 13 that brings balance to the box power game? Or will he be the ultimate rugby mercenary, used wherever needed, brilliant everywhere, but never allowed to specialize?
Oh man, who is the Springboks 13 right now? And from what I've seen from the last video we watched for Sacha and now Moody, dude, you guys got a lineup. You guys got to be loving the future, right? Who plays 13 for the Springboks? Well, they're saying Canan and Moody, but I mean, who's the start? I should say who's starting. Jesse Creel, was it? Excuse me. Jesse Creel was the most recent starter. I was just wondering because they're talking about playing him as a 13. What position do you think he'd be best at?
One thing is clear. If he were playing for New Zealand or France, the world would already be calling him a superstar. But maybe that's what makes his story even better. No Craven Week. No SA schools. No early spotlight. Just a scout, watching quietly from shadows, seeing something the system missed. Canan Moody doesn't need hype. He doesn't need headlines. He just needs a jersey. Any number.
Man.
Any position. And he'll deliver. Every single time. Thanks for watching.
That is crazy. So you gotta love that though, right? That's just somebody that is out there wanting to learn and just loves to play the game and has an obvious talent for it. He just apparently looks like he can do everything. He studies the game, he knows the positions, and has the ability to do it. What position do you think he'd be best at? Really curious to see how this plays out, though. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.